So tonight, we have a deep appreciation for the work of SIRDN, the Syracuse Immigrant Rescue Defense Network. It is our honor and our pleasure to present to you our annual People's Peace Award given to citizens doing extraordinary work for justice. Thank you for doing what you do to resist the brutality of ICE and to protect our community at this critical time. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you, Paco. Thank you, Syracuse Community Choir. We are completely humbled by being able to receive this award on behalf of all the immigrants who live in fear in our city and our country, and who have incredible courage to face the obstacles that are placed in their way. To let you hear some of their stories, in addition to the ones that are in your program and that Paco mentioned, we have a short presentation with excerpts from the poem Home by Warsaw and Shire and from other public sources. We would like to thank local journalists, especially Michelle Breidenbach and Marnie Eisenstadt from Syracuse.com, for their courageous reporting.
No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark. You can only run for the border when you see the whole city running as well.
On Thursday, September 6th, about 70 of the 150 people working at the Nutribar factory in Cato were detained by ICE. All of the people detained were Hispanic. Some of the workers have been with the company for 8 to 10 years. A few of the employees detained were later released and began to return to the business. An ICE spokesman would not answer questions submitted by Syracuse.com, including what crimes were being investigated that officials say prompted the raid. ICE also wouldn't say how many people it detained or where they were taken.
You only leave home when home won't let you stay.
Thursday was little Eddie's first day of high school. He was nervous. His mom, Elizabeth, was worried. But Big Eddie, his dad, did the thing he always does. He looked at his wife and told her everything would be okay. When we get back from work at the end of the day, little Eddie will tell us how great school was, he assured her. But Big Eddie never came home to Martville in northern Cayuga County, a town 30 miles west of Syracuse. His family could not find him after the Nutribar raid, and in 72 hours he was deported to Guatemala, a country he hadn't lived in for 2 decades.
No one would leave home unless home chased you.
2 teens fled Turkish Kurdistan on their own in search of a country where they could practice religion and speech without fear. They settled in Syracuse suburbs and leaned on each other for support. The 2 kept U.S. Customs and Immigration's officers up to date on their home addresses, their jobs, and their classes at OCC. On October 6th, Ardil drove Dalil to ICE headquarters in Mattydale and waited in the car while his friend made his usual 3-month check-in. Dalil's text suddenly stopped. He never came out.
You have to understand, no one puts their child in a boat unless the water is safer than the land.
Delmy was on a path to legal residency in the United States. But after a run-in with a deer on a rural highway in upstate New York, ICE put her on a paperwork highway back to Guatemala without her family. Her U.S. citizen daughters were without their mom since February, and she recently was deported to Guatemala.
No one would choose days and nights in the stomach of a truck unless the miles traveled meant something more than the journey.
This summer, a member of the Workers' Center shared this. Today, I believe that we as Hispanics who work on farms, we really don't go and buy food anymore. The reason is that we could be captured by immigration. There is also the fear of going into stores and seeing Americans who stare at us. We think they could call immigration.
I want to go home, but home is the mouth of a shark. Home is the barrel of a gun.
Doris sobbed on the witness stand in federal court in Syracuse when her attorney asked her if she had 2 children. Sí, she said. Doris admitted that she is a citizen of Honduras, that she had been deported from the United States once before, and she had no permission to be in the U.S. when she was pulled over for a traffic stop April 1st in Oswego County. The admission came after video footage, testimony from Border Patrol agents, and documents that prosecutors presented as evidence of her guilt. They made it seem so straightforward. Doris wanted to say so much more. She wanted to tell the jury she came to the U.S. at gunpoint. She wanted them to know that she believes she will be killed if she is sent back to Honduras. But the judge would not allow that testimony. The first week of October, after spending 6 months in Oneida County Jail, separated from her husband and children in Fulton, Doris was deported.
No one would leave home unless home chased you to the shore.
Mom, immigration came and took Dad away, Maria recalled being told by her 15-year-old daughter, who was in the front seat of the family car during an accident. After the collision, Maria said her husband called the police, and immigration showed up too. Maria said her husband has no criminal history. When Maria, who is using a pseudonym for fear of jeopardizing their immigration process, got to the scene of the accident, her husband had already been handcuffed.
No one would leave home until home is a voice in your ear saying, leave, run, now. I don't know what I've become.
Ruben fled Guatemala because his life was threatened by a cartel when he refused to work for them. He was only 15 years old when he fled to the US alone. It took great character and strength for Ruben to escape the threats he faced. In the US, he filed with immigration, and a special immigrant juvenile application is pending. He's now 18 years old, studying to earn his GED, improving his English, and hoping to join the US Army and become a citizen. But on November 11th, Ruben was detained at his ICE check-in in Matterdale and taken to the Batavia Detention Center. He was quickly moved to an overcrowded South Texas facility where he suffers inhumane conditions. Ruben must sleep on the floor and eat terrible food under bright lights that are on 24/7. Now, at first, we were going to ask you to help us with Ruben's GoFundMe because he needs a lawyer. But thankfully, so many people contributed to his GoFundMe this past week that more than 90% of his expenses are now covered. We are amazed and grateful. But, of course, there are many, many ways you can help people like Ruben, Delmy, Doris, Big Eddie, and the many, many we have not named. Some actions are suggested in your program, thanks to Elizabeth and some other people for putting together lots of information. Please act on these suggested actions, especially the New York for All petition. If you paid attention to the stories, then you know that the collaboration between police and federal agents is a huge issue. Do get in touch with us if you want to learn more. And do come to our weekly immigrant support rallies right here in downtown Syracuse. We have more information about this at our table in the back. Last but not least, while Reuben's fund is almost full, we still need money. Might you be able to help us with our Rapid Response Emergency Fund? We use this to support families who are facing unexpected detention-related expenses. Please be generous as we pass the baskets for our Rapid Response Emergency Fund. You can also donate with your phone for either Reuben's GoFundMe or the Rapid Response Emergency Fund at our table in the back. So, I'm going to say it again. Thank you, Syracuse Community Choir. And thank you, Syracuse Community Choir audience. We cannot do this work by ourselves. Thank you.